Is Alonso a coward? What did Alonso add more than Ancelotti? Wasn't Ancelotti the problem with his outdated tactics? Then Alonso came along, and now he's losing all the big matches. Real Madrid is the main character here, but we just don't see it. Alonso beat Barcelona, sure, but we know Barcelona was struggling with injuries, just like we did last season. Even when winning El Clasico, Alonso didn't win it in a way that makes us happy. This is the voice of many unhappy Madrid fans. As for Liverpool fans, they're confused about Slot. Is that really the right lineup he used against Aston Villa? What about the new signings? It was effective and suitable for the team. What did the coach bring tactically to stand firm and compete for everything? We, the Reds, had a lot of questions before the Anfield battle between Real Madrid and Liverpool. It was a big match that tested the fans' doubts about their favorite teams. So, let's break down that game together from start to finish to see what happened to each team. The atmosphere before the match was mixed. On one side, a team aiming to kick off their coach's new project, which was Madrid under Alonso, and on the other, a team looking to confirm their return to winning ways through a big game, which was Liverpool. From Alonso's side, after 14 matches, he achieved one of the best starts in Real Madrid's history, and that's no joke. The season saw 13 wins and just one loss, which was in the derby against Atletico. Also, Alonso managed to bring back Madrid's victories in El Clasico after a tough year where the team lost all its matches against Barcelona. Madrid is now top of the league, 5 points ahead of Barcelona. They've conceded 10 goals and scored 26, so things are looking great. As for the Champions League, the team has a perfect record with 3 wins out of 3 matches and sits 5th in the group standings before the next game, tied on points, but behind on goal difference. The team has scored 8 goals and only conceded 1, which was against Marseille. On Solet's side, the situation is, it's gotten even more complicated after the team's struggles. This is the squad that spent nearly $500 million on transfers that some doubt have really gelled with the team. They turned things around in the league against Aston Villa after losing 4 games in a row before that. They bounced back by going back to almost the same lineup as last season, the league champions lineup, or at least what's left of it defensively. Overall, Liverpool is struggling. They've conceded 14 goals in the league and scored 18. Arsenal, leading the table, have only let in 3 goals in 10 games. As for the Champions League, the team has played 3 matches, winning 2 and losing 1. It was against Galatasaray, sitting in 10th place before their match with Madrid. They conceded 4 goals in the Champions League and scored 8. Now, let's check out the Spanish and English press articles ahead of the game. Marca, in an article titled Mbappe's Unfinished Work, talks about last year's match, which was painful for Mbappe, who was just starting his career with the Whites. Ancelotti back then said the cure was to be patient with Mbappe as he adapted. Marca says this season is different. Mbappe has exploded with endless goals, and now it's time to get revenge against Liverpool at Anfield. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail, in an article titled Inside, Arne Slot talked about his beginnings as an overlooked player and as a coach adopting Cruyff's ideas of high pressing and building from the back. He said he'll stick to those principles no matter what, even with the current criticism. The article mentions this is the toughest challenge in Slot's career, especially because of the mental pressure. It criticizes the team's tactical dropbacks and the spaces opponents exploit. Analysts quoted in the article say, coaches like Alonso and Guardiola know Liverpool's weaknesses. The article also highlights the fans' frustration and fading enthusiasm, especially after Slot's comments about lack of depth and bad luck. Another article from This Is Anfield suggests Slot might get a fresh start. Aston Villa's lineup showed some balance returning to the team. But the biggest news before the match was the visit of Arnold, Alonso, and Hausen to pay tribute to Jota. The photos were really emotional, especially from Arnold, his friend and former teammate at Liverpool. Arnold wrote a deeply touching message to his late teammate saying, "My friend Diego, we miss you so much, but we still love you. Your memory and Andres will always live on. I smile every time I think of you and will always remember the good times we shared. I miss you every day, my friend. The relationship between Liverpool and Real Madrid has always been classy. The two clubs treat each other like a refined community among football teams." Even when Arnold left for Real Madrid, it didn't damage Liverpool's image. Now, let's see what the two coaches said at the press conference before the match. Slot talked about choosing the same lineup he used against Aston Villa, which they won. He said the past doesn't factor into his decisions when picking the lineup to face Real Madrid. Regarding playing Real Madrid and Manchester City in the same week for the second season in a row, Slot said every game is a test because they're a new team now. It's different from last season when both games were at Anfield. This time, one is away. Last season, when they faced Real Madrid, they have a lot of injuries, but now we're facing a different team. We know every match we play is a new challenge. Slot praised Madrid and its history, but with a bit of football cunning, he talked about Vinicius and how important he is to Madrid, even though he knows the player is currently stirring up controversy inside the club. It also seems Slot was reading the technical weakness that's going to hit Alonso's system and the repeated return to relying on Vini. He said Vini is like lightning. His one-on-one battles are really special. He can get past 3 or 4 players in one go. And we're not the only team that scored against Real Madrid before. As for Alonso, the main question is why he preferred to do the last training session in Madrid instead of Liverpool. Of course, conspiracy theories started flying and never stopped. But Alonso cleared things up, saying it wasn't because of any doubts or conspiracies, simply, we all just feel more in control at the Madrid training ground. Alonso was naturally asked about his memories with Liverpool, since he's one of the club's legends. The Spanish said the player there helped him become who he is today. And if you love football, you love the player on the Anfield pitch. Those were great years. It helped me both as a player and as a coach. Alonso also showed support for his former player Wirtz, who is going through a tough time. He's going through a tough time and said, it's just a matter of time. Joining the English league is a big change for him since he spent his whole life in Germany, so he needs to adapt. I know he's a very competitive player. Alonso once again firmly confirmed in several responses that the team is still developing, rebuilding, and renewing. And that's something time will show. The match started between the English Giants and the European Giants. The Reds applied high pressure from the first minutes, fueled by the Anfield chants that ignite the crowd. The first serious attacks came in the 9th minute from that high pressing where Liverpool managed to win the ball back. It ended with a shot from McAllister. Then Real Madrid was well balanced due to the quality of their players, responded with a similar shot from a counterattack involving the trio of Vinicius, Bellingham, and Mbappe. But Mbappe's final shot was way off target over the Anfield sky. The match stayed tight in midfield, with Real Madrid struggling to break through and Liverpool waiting for their chance to strike. The Reds got their opportunity from a foul on Carreras, which was the most dangerous attack at that moment. Virtus grabbed the ball, delivered a perfect cross to Sposle, but as usual, the giant Courtois was there to save it and deny Liverpool the lead in these crucial minutes that could have given them control for the rest of the... Liverpool dominated those minutes and had a notable moment. Chouameni's penalty that got cancelled after the VAR review was expected. Honestly, I expected Real Madrid was starting to wake up here. 15 minutes was enough to soak up Anfield's energy, but Liverpool players stayed super focused in the last minutes of the half. There was a great shot from Szoboszlai that the legend Courtois saved. After that, Real Madrid started to come alive a bit towards the end of the half. Bellingham's shot was a clear sign of that, and Mamarashvili made an amazing save. If that ball had gone in, Bellingham could have totally changed the game, which shows how smart that player is. The half ended with another brilliant shot from McAllister, which Courtois also saved perfectly. In the first half, Real Madrid dominated possession with 60%, but it was mostly passive possession. Liverpool chose to drop back into midfield blocks for most of the half. About 33% of the passes were in Madrid's half. The gap between the teams wasn't huge during this period, and Madrid defended better, winning 58% of duels. Stats show Liverpool's expected goals were 0.71 compared to just 0.28 for Madrid. The second half started with Liverpool determined to score their first goal, but that's when the value of the giant goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois showed. He's one of the few goalkeepers you can call half the team. He saved 2 consecutive corners to keep his team safe from an early setback in the half, but Liverpool's sudden burst in those minutes and their clearly superior quality on set pieces led to a goal by McAllister that was unstoppable. After the goal, Liverpool slowed down, expecting a strong reaction from Real Madrid. But the truth is, Madrid didn't really respond aggressively. The goal came in the 60th minute, and Madrid's best chance was a shot by Mbappe that went just wide around the 75th minute. After that, Madrid mostly controlled the ball, but without much threat. They lacked the bite to scare their opponents. Both teams refreshed their squads with some substitutions. Rodrigo came on, followed by Arnold from Madrid. Arnold's substitution was more symbolic than tactical. Jones and Gakpo came on for Liverpool afterwards, and in those moments, Gakpo lost that magical ball from Salah that could have totally ended the match. But the giant Courtois kept scaring the Dutch player, forcing him to control the ball awkwardly on his chest. Then Militao blocked Salah's counterattack to stop a goal. Both teams made some fresh substitutions towards the end. Since both sides were running out of energy, Madrid fans, and even most of the Red supporters, expected Madrid to snatch an equalizer in those final minutes, but there was no real reaction. The second half saw clear dominance for Reds. The expected goals for Liverpool 1.87 goal was, and for Real Madrid was 0.17 goal. Madrid only managed 3 shots on target that half, none of which hit the frame. Pretty disappointing stats. Now, let's talk about the stars of the match from Liverpool's side. Hands down, it's Connor Bradley. Last year, he managed to stop Mbappe, and this year, he kept Vinicius in check, limiting his deadly threat. Vini was only dangerous when he managed to get free from Bradley. Bradley won 7 out of 12 ground duels and had a 100% success rate overall. He was dribbled past only 3 times, but he managed to dribble 3 times out of 4 attempts himself, so he also played an important role in moving the ball forward. Vinicius barely succeeded in the match with just 1 dribble and didn't create any good crosses. Bradley was able to force him into fouling, and Vinicius even got a yellow card. In Liverpool, we have to give some credit to Wirtz, who Slot chose to start instead of Gakpo. Honestly, he played amazingly, especially with his pressing. He also created the most chances in the whole match, with 5 opportunities. On the Madrid side, Tchouaméni was the best. His physical effort was insane as usual, and his defensive toughness stopped a lot of Liverpool's counterattacks. We could find him everywhere. He could stop Szoboszlai's runs behind the defense and stop the connection between Szoboszlai and Salah as well. Militao played a really good game, and his efforts showed in the ball he blocked from Salah, alongside his tight marking of Ekitiki's smart and dangerous moves. Now, let's get to the big question. Was Alonso cowardly, and did he add nothing after Ancelotti? The lineup Alonso started with was the classic Classico formation, balanced and with some tactical touches that allowed Mbappe's speed to shine. This was clear in Mbappe's first goal against Barcelona when Camavinga received the ball and passed it to Bellingham, who turned around and suddenly put Mbappe right in front of the goal. But you and I both know that Barcelona's defense is always pushing up and using the offside trap. What about the teams that stay compact? Van Dijk said after the match that they learned from Arsenal and how to limit Real Madrid. That toughness comes from the back and relying on quick counterattacks. Alonso expected Slot to press him aggressively from the front, since he was playing at home in front of his fans. Sure, Slot pressed hard at times, especially in the opening minutes, but look at this situation. 3 Liverpool players are falling back defensively to stop the fast counter, and 1 is just waiting for the second ball, and 4th players pressed most of the game, while Liverpool let Real Madrid control the ball and packed themselves either in a mid-block or low-block defense. Alonso's plan here was to gather the play and break the lines with passes. It worked, but Alonso kept it going for 2 reasons. First, because they didn't have a right winger after Mastanudo got injured, and second, because this setup maintained defensive balance against Liverpool's lightning-fast counterattacks, like back in the day. Modric and Kroos were always the solution. Modric can carry the ball and run almost the entire length of the pitch without losing it, creating chances, and Kroos can give those long passes. In Alonso's system, unlike the Barcelona game, Bellingham was pressing high when they didn't have the ball, and Güler would drop back alongside Tchouaméni to help bring the ball out when they regained possession. Arda Güler. Physically, it was tough because of Szoboszlai and McAllister, the beasts. As for the long balls, he only made 1 good one throughout the whole match. The speed of passing and his incredible ability to carry the ball, especially on the counterattack, has always been Madrid's secret weapon. But they lost that edge this time. Still, we shouldn't blame Güler for the entire game. Madrid had possession most of the time, so why didn't they put in crosses against Liverpool's tight defense? Real Madrid had 0 accurate crosses out of 8 attempts in the match. Why? Because no one can snatch a killer header from a cross. Mbappe isn't that kind of striker. The only weapon against such tight defenses is crosses leads to mistakes. No doubt. Real Madrid had zero effectiveness with crosses and free kicks, which are one of the strongest weapons in modern football to break down tough matches. Arteta, Alonso's close friend, built a whole arsenal around that idea. In the end of the match was miserable, and Alonso pushed Rodrigo like Ancelotti used to do on the right wing, but it didn't work out, of course. The players' form has dropped, even though Real Madrid has some of the best players in the world. Their lineups are very predictable and pretty much the same every time. Rodrigo is like Mbappe or Vinicius, same style but different skill levels. Then there's Bellingham, who Ancelotti turned into a legendary star. How are you going to tell him to drop back and stay away from goal? The whole system is built around this player's star power. Also, the defensive midfield is zero. There's no creative player who can quickly build up play. Alonso isn't a coward. This team needs a serious rethink and rebuilding. The new signings are great, but the team still needs players, midfielders with different qualities, and a central striker, poacher who can side tight games. There's some players who need to be sacrificed. Everyone's been unfair to Ancelotti, and everyone might end up being unfair to Alonso in the coming days. Being Real Madrid's coach means managing an empire, not just in sports, but financially and economically too. If the team keeps losing big matches, doubts about the coach, who's already under pressure, will start spreading among the players, then to the fans, and that's when the real problems will begin. Alonso will fight for the league. He might even snatch it in the end, especially with Barcelona's injuries and lack of depth in the squad. But in the Champions League, creativity is the key factor, and having a well-balanced team is what lets you face any opponent, no matter their style. As for Slot, respect to him for reading the game well. Madrid is a big team, and beating them will give a huge morale boost to the team. Now, it's clear to everyone what Liverpool's ideal lineup is, and the new signings need to fit in properly, just like Fürth did against Real. The midfield trio is essential: Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister, and the team definitely needs a defender as soon as possible. The man of the match, of course, is Thibaut Courtois. No one can deny that this goalkeeper is one of the best in history. His career has been legendary, with ups and downs, and now he's matured and reached his peak in the final phase of his playing days. It's no surprise why Perez loves this player and trusts him completely. Those matches show you why, without him, the match would have ended with a heavy loss, and the team would have fallen into a dark hole. Marca and Diario has said Courtois was basically alone on the field, and harshly criticized the rest of the team. Expectations were high. The Daily Mail mocked Arnold, of course, to please their English audience, especially the Liverpool fans. Alonso came out after the match and said the loss today was completely different from the one against Atletico. We gave it our all and fought hard, and our performance was really solid. When asked about the lack of creativity, Alonso said it was tough for us to break into the final third because they kept dropping back, and in the penalty area, it was hard to create chances. But it was a match that required hard work and gradually gaining ground. Then it came down to the details, and in the end, things went their way. Alonso was also asked if this lineup is the final one for the team, and he replied that the season is still long and we've got a lot ahead of us, and dealing step by step. While Slot said this is a stage of liberation and getting back to balance. He also talked about how important set pieces are for winning big matches. Real Madrid's next tough game before the break is against Rayo Vallecano away in the league, and Slot's next match is a brutal one in the league against City, also away at the Etihad. That's it, my friend. As usual, it's personal opinion. Let me know your opinions in comments. Don't forget to subscribe and share. See you, my friend.